YouTube. Hi Spotify. This is Cal coming to you today again with another video in our series on manipulation tactics. And today we're going to be talking about competing with someone else in their life to become a higher priority, okay? And I don't know exactly, I guess it's devaluing would really be like the manipulation tactic there, but and a lot of times this is not a conscious manipulation tactic. It might not even be an unconscious manipulation tactic, but it's up there. It can be. And I think what's important is for you, I just want to explain the concept because I have a lot of clients who ask me, how much should I be understanding if another person is super busy? And my answer always is, are they meeting your needs? Are they, making you feel important, cherished, loved, valued, right? And I, again, had to learn some of these things the hard way. But so you might be asking, why is it a manipulation tactic, right? Because, okay, so if you have not seen my video on ABC, on the cognitive behavioral therapy ABC video, go back. You'll be able to find it. It's one of my earlier ones. And we're going to talk today about the B part, the belief part. So in that ABC, just a real quick overview, there's an activating event that happens in your external environment. It triggers some kind of either irrational belief in you or rational belief, and then that leads to an emotional consequence, okay? And so when you are with someone who is making you compete with other things to feel like a priority, it can trigger an irrational belief in you of like, I need to be good enough to be loved. So people might be susceptible to this, or it might trigger you if you had favoritism growing up, like there were favorites around you as a child, or even if you were the favorite and need to be there's just multiple ways. But a lot of times it triggers is, I need to be good enough to be loved, because this person who is basically not prioritizing you, that's my cat if you can hear, this person who is basically not prioritizing you is kind of setting up this dynamic of like, I'm up here and you kind of have to fight to be like a high priority in my life. And if you have low self-esteem, or you have any kind of like irrational beliefs of like, I need to be good enough to be loved, what happens is you may go into like a competition mode. Like, I'm going to see whether it's other women around other men or women around this person, and you feel like you have to, quote, be good enough to get in their good graces, or for them to approve of you. I feel like is a subconscious belief of like, I'm not good enough and I have to prove it to someone else that I deserve to be prioritized, that I deserve to be valued, that I deserve to be cherished and loved, and someone's high priority, and have them make me feel that way, right? So basically, if you have any of those kind of low self-esteem things, someone making you fight to feel like a priority can trigger those, and the emotional consequence there. So the external or activating event would be, someone is not prioritizing me, or someone is making me compete to be a priority. Maybe they have kids, kids are a valid priority, but with a partner, you should never have to feel like you have to fight to get your needs met, to feel important. That's the biggest one, to feel important in their life, right? If you feel discarded or kind of like low on the priority list, I'm just saying that's not a good sign, because you deserve, right, you're not going to all of a sudden start as someone's number one priority. I'm not, definitely not saying that. But what should happen is, no matter where you start in the priority list, your partner should make you feel like you're rising in the priority list. So like, obviously first date, you're not going to be high in the priority list, right? But the more time goes on, you should feel like you're rising in the priority list. And even if, they have other competing things like a job or kids or whatever, they should still be able to make you feel important and carve out time for you and enough to meet your emotional needs. If that's not happening, you need to be asking yourself, why am I with someone who is unavailable? Because really that is kind of an emotional unavailability. If someone is not making you feel prioritized or cherished, and again, this sometimes is a manipulation tactic. Like, if you know, if you've ever seen like people make other people jealous, that is kind of what's going on right here. Like, but a lot of times when you're busy and not prioritizing someone, it's not a manipulation tactic. But the key here is that the question for you is, are you willing to settle for someone who is not making you feel like a priority, someone who is not making you feel cherished and valued and like important in their life? Those are the crucial 4 words there. Important in their life, right? You need to feel prioritized. So again, it doesn't mean you can't understand other things going on in someone's life, but they have to be very good at reassuring you. You have to be getting your emotional needs met and all your other needs. Maybe you have a need for, you know, presence and you know, basically just wanting someone to, you know, when someone makes you feel cherished and important, and when you feel like you're lower in the list and kind of a little bit discarded or devalued, right? You know when you're feeling valued and cherished and important in a relationship. And if you're not, the question is, do you deserve to have someone who is making you feel important, cherished, loved? And if the answer to that is yes, you probably want to ask yourself, why am I in this relationship, right? So that is basically, I mean, again, competing to feel like a priority is not always, and honestly, definitely not always a conscious manipulation tactic. But it definitely can be an unconscious one. And it also can just be someone is themselves like not aware of how they're making the other person feel, right? But I just want to encourage you to try to find someone who makes you feel valued, cherished, important, prioritized. And so you don't, quote, settle for being very low in the priority list, because we all as human beings deserve a partner who is there when we need them, makes you feel important, makes you feel like their favorite person in the world that they want to see, that they will always make time for you. And again, they will always make time for you even if their schedule is busy, right? Like that's the difference between, so like you want to be with a partner who is like, babe, when can we see each other? And even if I have a crazy busy schedule, let's prioritize finding some time for each other, right? And how much do you need? And let's talk about that. You know what I mean? You know when a partner is invested in making you feel important and cherished, versus the other kind of attitude is basically, well, I'm busy, so you kind of get like whatever I have left over in time, you know? And you do not want to be with someone who is making you feel like you have to fight to be a priority in their life, okay? They're just clearly not emotionally available enough for a relationship at that point. Granted, I'm not saying to spend 24/7 together, or even like, you know, everybody's needs are different, but what you don't want to feel like is like you're bottom of the priority list and you basically get lucky when they choose to spend time with you. You do not want to feel that way. So that is all I have to say for today, but it's one of the ones in the manipulation tactics list. So if you know, what I would suggest is, if you find yourself in that situation, sitting down with a person and saying, hey, I know that I deserve to be with someone who makes me feel important in their life, even if they're busy, right? So how can we do that? Is there a way? Do you feel like you could make someone else in your life feel important to you right now? And get their answer, because like, or if they say, so if they respond and are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to make you feel that way. I definitely want to make you feel important. And like, how do you feel important, so that I can like make sure that I'm meeting those needs, right? But if you get a response that is basically like, well, I don't know what to tell you because I have a lot going on, and like basically I can't promise you at all really like what, you know, how if I can meet your needs or not. If you get that kind of response, honestly, I'm telling you right now, red flag. And I don't believe in toxic people. I believe, you know, we all have strengths and weaknesses, but what you deserve is an emotionally available partner who is making you feel safe and secure, is consistent, and all those great things. So I hope that this video finds you well tonight, wherever you are, and I will see you next time.